need not speak my name aloud. The merest thought is enough to summon me to your midst. I can smell your desires. They float to me like a whisper upon the breeze. Such an intoxicating aroma. I simply couldn't resist heeding your call. Despite the fact that you're unable to sense my presence, I am always near, listening and watching, waiting for the opportunity to corrupt and deceive with pretty lies and false promises.
However, my business with you this evening is something else altogether. Is my physical form not to your liking? I used your thoughts and preferences as inspiration for my appearance. I've had as many forms as I've had summoners, and there have been quite a few indeed. Did you really believe that this Shimenawa would protect you from me? I'm sorry to tell you this, but religious iconography and superstition have no effect upon my kind. And neither does any form of salt. I noticed you wasted a few boxes worth on this pitiful protection circle. You possess neither the resources nor the technical expertise required to repel me. I'm the very definition of an apex predator. You've served yourself up to me on a silver platter. Tell me, what business could a lamb possibly have with a ravenous wolf? Although I must admit your circle and crude wards are rather charming, if not entirely pointless. Relax, we're never going to have a proper conversation if you're too frightened to speak. I have no intention of causing you any trauma. Not at the moment. My mood tends to shift on a whim, so I cannot guarantee your complete safety. What was that, my little lamb? You'll have to speak up a bit. The easiest way for you to conceptualize my being is as a demon. Although in reality my true nature is something quite different. I've been called a variety of names over the years, there's almost too many to count. Your species has yet to even fathom the existence of those of my kind, so demon will suffice for our purpose. It has a nice ring to it. Enough with the preamble. I'm aware of your intentions for summoning me. If you wish to make a deal with me, there are a few conditions which I'm obliged to explain before we proceed. You are aware that you will be required to forfeit your soul in exchange for your earthly desires, correct? Are you familiar with the stipulations involved in parting with your soul? I cannot divulge the secrets of the cosmos to a human, so suffice to say that there is no such thing as an afterlife, merely an altered state of existence as a form of energy. However, if we proceed with our exchange, I will consume this energy once you pass on, and you will never learn what lies beyond the veil of this life. Also, know that one gift I cannot bestow is true immortality, as it defies the natural laws of the universe. I can extend your lifespan, but the maximum limit is around 3,000 years. Well, it's true that I am similar to your conceptualization of a demon. However, there are many aspects of this existence which humans simply have yet to reveal. I'm not obligated to, but should you wish for the knowledge, then I would be forced to share it with you. However, I'm already intimately acquainted with all of your secrets, needs, and wants and desires, and I know that that wish for such knowledge is not counted among them. With these conditions in mind, are you still prepared to forge a contract with me this evening? Very well. In that case, I decline. Our contract is null and void. Be that as it may, this is a seller's market and the proprietor is allowed to deny services for any reason or whim. My purpose for nullifying the proposal is due to an imbalance in the exchange. I hope you'll excuse me for saying this, but your wish is quite frivolous. You already have all the tools required to live a fulfilling life. I may be a demon, but I do have scruples. I wish to see those whom I favor use their wishes for their own selfish purposes. It adds much more flavor to the soul. You may think you need all of these extra things in order to be happy. However, I've made the deal countless times before, and I can attest that such wishes never benefit those who make them. Quite the opposite, in fact. Once they realize that they cannot obtain true happiness through supernatural means, most tend to fall in a cycle of misery and regret. Exactly as I intended. I don't smell any interesting spices on your soul. Envy, hatred, greed. These are all quite tasty to the choosy connoisseur such as myself. But I can only sense loneliness within you. And a desire to be accepted. To be honest, my dear, that really isn't my cup of tea. I prefer those who are easily vulnerable to corruption and vice. In a way, I'm sort of jealous of your mortal perspective. It gives meaning and value to everything you do during your life. The longer you live, the less intrinsic value living has to offer. I'm sure you're aware of the moniker, been there, done that. I've existed for quite a while now, and I have to admit, life has grown quite boring. The more opportunity you have, the less unique it becomes. Once you've lived for as long as I have, you've become quite adept at identifying the various types of personalities. Most people fall into distinct categories based on their life experiences and motivations, so it's child's play to manipulate them like marionettes. Humans are a comparative species by nature, so the development of psychological insecurities is a foregone conclusion. People tend to foster resentment towards those whom they perceive as possessing an aspect which they lack. Humans usually take their unique traits for granted. Instead, they desire that which they do not have, as they believe it will bring them a joy which they feel is missing from their lives. Societal influences are usually to blame in such cases. For example, your media features new trends all the time, and most people feel that they will be vulnerable to ridicule unless they adapt to the majority. The most realistic course of action is to accept the unique aspects of your personality and learn to appreciate the moment. If your goals and expectations are unobtainable, then you'll spend all your time chasing an impossibility rather than enjoying your life to the fullest. Keep that in mind. This is all from the perspective of a demon, so you may want to consider words with a grain of salt. Do not harbor the notion that I'm somehow doing this for your benefit. My motivations are none of your concern, so don't misinterpret my refusal as some pretext of sparing you or something. No one has ever asked me that before. Let's see, the most delicious soul I've ever tasted. I've been around for almost 13 billion years now, so there's quite a lot to keep track of. I would say my very top three are Mary Tudor, Caligula, and Julia Agrippina. How I miss the debauchery of ancient Rome. There's never been such a plentiful supply of corruptible livestock for me to enjoy. Although now that I think back, Elizabeth Bathory, quite a tasty treat. Rival and I competed over the right to consume her soul. But I think the most satisfying aspect was sensing my enemy's anger and jealousy when I finally devoured her essence. The taste itself was rather mediocre, so that's the reason why she's not included among my top 3 favorite souls. Oh, my apologies, but I must take my leave of you. It seems that you are quite lucky to have survived this evening, so I would advise against summoning me again. Although, I must admit that I enjoyed our conversation. There's something unique about you, but I can't quite define it. I wouldn't be opposed to visiting you in the future, but remember that you take your life in your hands whenever you call me. Until next time we meet, sweet dreams.